ahead of schedule, not something you usually hear with Oklahoma construction, just how soon drivers will be able to hit the new Gilcrease Expressway. We remember a phrase said and shown at a vigil for a woman who's missing, the bizarre evidence found that have many questioning her disappearance. A new Black Lives Matter mural appears in Tulsa, how a local woman hopes to bring back the major statement in a new way.
Covering news that matters. Fox 23 News This Morning starts right now.
Good Monday morning to you. I'm Tiffany Alaniz in for Michelle Lynn. The time now is 4:30. The Gilcrease Expressway construction is way ahead of schedule when it will likely be done. And a woman disappears at the beginning of the pandemic. How her family and friends hope she'll be found, as police say it may be for a much sadder reason. Meteorologist Michael Sager is in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center. You may be hearing that wind out there, Michael, a cold front pushing in.
Yeah, cold front swept through, came through Tulsa at about 3 o'clock this morning, and behind that front, the winds have really picked up. We'll break down where we end up this afternoon in about 10 minutes.
In a developing story, construction of a new highway in West Tulsa is ahead of schedule. Fox 23's Amanda Gilbert is live this morning with why the project shows just how fast downtown Tulsa is really growing.
Yeah, Tiffany, the idea behind the Gilcrease Expressway is 60 years in the making. I'm looking into that for 5. Reporting live, covering news that matters, I'm Amanda Gilbert, Fox 23 News.
Oklahoma Highway Patrol troopers are looking for witnesses of a car accident where a driver hit a man walking along the road. It happened around 10:45 Sunday morning on Highway 412 near 65th West Avenue. Troopers say the 25-year-old driver was trying to change lanes when he hit 24-year-old Zachary Smith. Troopers aren't sure if Smith was in the road at the time. They say the driver did stay at the scene and is not in custody. Smith is in serious condition. For the next several weeks, there will be a special display highlighting the dangers of car accidents that involve people walking or on bicycles. It's being held at the Tulsa County Courthouse in room 119. The display from INCOG shows the bicycling fatalities from 2019. Every pair of shoes stands for a person that died in Tulsa. The display also asks for your ideas on how we can all travel with care and make our streets safer. In a developing story, friends and family of a Wagner woman are still looking for answers months after she disappeared. We first told you about Talina Galloway's disappearance in March when the Wagner County Sheriff's Office started their investigation. Fox 23's Amanda Harry is live this morning with what her friends and family had to say at a vigil last night. Amanda.
Tiffany, friends and family say that there aren't live covering news that matters. Amanda Harry, Fox 23 News.
A Tulsa housekeeper is in jail after police say she attacked and robbed an 81-year-old man who she was looking after. Police say the victim told them Brittany Russell, quote, went nuts after food she was preparing fell on the floor and she threw it at him. Police say she punched him in the eye. The victim was bleeding but got out the front door toward his neighbor's car. Police say Russell followed him outside, shoved him up against his neighbor's car, and then stole his phone, cash, and keys from his pockets.
It's kind of surprising. You wouldn't think something like that would happen, but people are crazy, man. So you never know, I guess.
Police arrested Russell Friday at a nearby apartment complex. She's charged with first-degree burglary and caretaker abuse. Police say it was a tip that led to an arrest following a deadly shooting in North Tulsa. We told you Michael Marshall is accused of shooting 2 men. One of them didn't survive. Chief Matthew Foster in Hominy says someone recognized Marshall as a suspect after seeing him on the news. Then they let police know.
Yeah, I caught him coming in over here. She watched him get in the vehicle and then followed him out of the complex. And then I had another officer who was set up down there who could watch that intersection, and he got in behind him and we performed the traffic stop.
Police say Marshall's brother lives in Hominy. He reportedly went there because he knew police would be arresting him and he wanted to tell his brother goodbye. Tulsa police didn't have to go far to arrest a second person in one of the city's earliest homicides of the year. Officers say Lawrence Mitchell has been in jail since May for an unrelated case, but a confidential informant recently led investigators to him. He's accused in the January shooting death of a man named Kim Hayes. Soon after that, crime officers arrested Charles Boaz, but it took a while to get that second arrest.
Sometimes people talk, sometimes people don't. Sometimes it takes a while to get the information.
Officers say Hayes owed Boaz money for prescription pills, and the murder happened when Boaz and Mitchell went to the victim's home to confront him. The Broken Arrow Police Department participated in the 52nd annual Oklahoma Law Enforcement Memorial Service. It was held Friday in Oklahoma City. 24 new officers who have fallen in the line of duty were added to that monument. The service was postponed back in May because of the coronavirus. A Jinx sergeant and Manford police chief's names were both on that memorial. Next year, Sergeant Craig Johnson will be remembered during that service. A national event celebrating those in law enforcement had an event in Tulsa this weekend. Faith and Blue kicked off Sunday afternoon celebration with a cookout at Spirit Life Church, where there were carnival games, music, and a community basketball game. One TPD officer we spoke with told us this event is a great way to bring the community together.
Is an initiative to bring houses of worship of all religions and police departments together to build trust and to build bridges and to really be that the glue that kind of binds our cities together and help make each other safe.
TPD says it hopes to make this a yearly tradition. Now to our coverage of the coronavirus, here is a look at the latest numbers. Sunday, the state health department identified 766 new cases. The statewide total now at 99,387. There were also 3 new deaths reported. The total death toll now 1,098 Oklahomans. So far, more than 84,000 Oklahomans have recovered. One of Saturday's coronavirus deaths was a Tulsa surgeon. Giancarlo Piano was a vascular surgeon and a member of the medical team at St. Francis Health System. The health system released a statement over the weekend saying Dr. Piano was a well-respected member of the medical staff and known for his kindness and compassion. The Oklahoma Blood Institute is putting out a renewed call for donations as we are seeing hospitalizations spiking and reaching their all-time high for the pandemic. Hospitals say this increasing trend is concerning, especially as we are now headed into flu season. Fox 23 spoke with OBI last week. They say they hope more people will donate plasma that could help COVID patients so it can help hospitals get in a better position quickly.
It's already a strained product because we don't have enough people donating convalescent plasma. Somebody could possibly die because we don't get it to them fast enough.
So you can only donate convalescent plasma if you have fully recovered from COVID-19 and if you have been symptom-free for 14 days. But of course, with almost 100,000 Oklahomans who have had coronavirus now, many of you have had it. And if you know somebody who has had it, they are truly in a desperate need for that convalescent plasma. They would be very, very grateful for any donations. You may be grateful for cooler temperatures today after we saw a warm weekend, very summer-like for us. Meteorologist Michael Sager is in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center tracking cooler temperatures for us as we start this work week.
Yeah, cold front has swept through this morning, and that will bring us with gusty northerly winds and also going to elevate our grass fire risk as well as we head throughout the day. But we've got a warm up through the middle of the week. How much warmer we can get these temperatures by the time we go into Wednesday in about 10 minutes.
The time now is just about 4:41.
People just want to race again, so we tried to do everything we could to try to have an event.
The run must go on. How organizers of a half marathon kept everyone moving safely.
That's when he saw that the gate was open. We love him. He is our family. He is our hope.
This is great news. A family who had been searching for their lost service dog found him. We'll share the happy reunion. And the Black Lives Matter mural pops up again in Tulsa. How those who made the new version still want some much needed change. In a developing story, a new Black Lives Matter mural is painted outside of a Midtown Tulsa home. Fox 23's Scott Martin is live with who's behind the new artwork. Scott.
Yeah, Tiffany, it was a Midtown Tulsa homeowner. She teamed up with a local artist. They used some chalk to outline it on her driveway, and then they painted it in those big yellow colored paint, bright yellow colored paint during this time. We're live in Midtown Tulsa this morning, covering news that matters. I'm Scott Martin, Fox 23 News.
Pumpkin Place in South Tulsa is working to keep you safe from coronavirus. Pumpkin Town Farms has live music, hay rides, and bounce houses. They require all workers to wear face coverings, but it's optional for their customers there. The staff tells us most people are wearing them.
If you look around, a lot of people are wearing masks and a few are not. And we're trying to stay apart from each other. And when they come and get in line, we try to do 6 feet apart, and we're taking precautions.
Staff are also taking employees' temperatures before they start their shifts. Pumpkin Town opens at 10 this morning, with the farm recommending weekday trips to try to further avoid the crowds. They're open 7 days a week, 10 o'clock until 8, extending those hours to 10 to 10 Fridays and Saturdays. A family is relieved their missing service dog was reunited with them. We told you last week how the Clark family was searching for their service animal, Bandit. Bandit helps Jaden, who suffers from seizures. A viewer saw our story on Thursday after finding Bandit about a mile from his home. Of course, the Clark family was overjoyed.
When I got the message that he'd been found, I almost ran out of the car and left it where it was. I'm just squeaking through the house.
Of course, how exciting. They say they're making sure he's always wearing his collar from now on, and they want to thank those who helped in the search and shared his picture online. So glad that Bandit is back home. Can you imagine the adventure that he must have had for sure? For a few days, Bandit, you're staying home from here on out. A nice morning for us, cooler temperatures and windy out there. As I was driving into work, the flags are all blowing, and really strong winds as that cold front was blowing into Tulsa. Meteorologist Michael Sager is in the Fox 23 Severe Weather Center tracking a wind gust forecast for us. Michael.
Yeah, windy today. We'll break down what we've got out there this morning, though, as you're heading off for that morning drive in about 10 minutes.
The time now is 4:50.
For myself and one other crew member on our flight today, this means we'll be furloughed October 1st. And unfortunately, this was my last working flight before that day comes.
You heard her say that was her last working flight before she's furloughed. Sadness for flight attendants as they lose their jobs during the pandemic. What they hope is done so they can fly again.
To watch a loved one, someone very close to you, experiencing a trauma, I think is sometimes more painful.
A freak accident leaves a woman at her lowest point. How she was able to help others by writing about her own experience.
But there is a lot of devastation, a lot of businesses that are still without power and shut down.
Helping during another hurricane, how crews from Oklahoma are assisting an area that got a double punch from Mother Nature. The Fox 23 Severe Weather Team is hearing from Oklahoma Task Force 1. We've told you the group is in Louisiana for the 3rd time in just a few months. They're helping with hurricane recovery efforts, this time from Hurricane Delta. Here is a look at Lake Charles, where they rolled out their boats, gear, and trucks, making their way to Baton Rouge first, then eventually Lake Charles. The team is doing a lot of damage assessments.
The debris that they had left over from the previous storm has actually, become another hindrance because now it's been scattered everywhere, and there's new debris on top of that debris.
They say for the most part, different members of their team have responded for their 3 separate trips to Louisiana. Runners came out for one of their first in-person races in downtown Tulsa since the start of the pandemic. The T-Town Half Marathon happened Sunday. There was limited capacity, and the races kicked off in waves of 3 groups with 100 to 150 racers at a time. We spoke with the race director on why he says it was important to have it in person.
There's a lot of virtual races. We've done a bunch of virtual events, but to actually have an in-person race means a lot to people.
Supporters were able to cheer the runners on from socially distanced groups. The time now 4:55. You'll soon get to deal with one less set of construction in Tulsa when the work on the Gilcrease Expressway will be done ahead of schedule. Family and friends hope a local woman is found alive. Why police say her disappearance is not related to coronavirus like they first believed.